Italy is now the latest target for the European financial crisis, and the sheer size of its economy could make it too large for Europe simply to bail out.
The total amount of Italian debt is 1.9 trillion euros. 1.9 trillion euros. That is roughly the size of the balance sheet of the entire consolidated European Central Bank system.
Soaring borrowing rates, the yield on the country's 10-year bonds is fast approaching 7%, have pushed the country's $2.6 trillion in debt to the breaking point.
If they could keep the rate there, the 120% of GDP debt they've got is just barely sustainable. In other words, the ratio of debt to GDP is now about 120%, and it would grow only very, very slowly, maybe 121, 122 by the end of next year, and kind of creep up. But if the 3 3/4 rate has to be replaced by a 6.5 to 7% rate, then it starts spiraling quickly out of control.
The shift in rates has intensified pressure on Premier Silvio Berlusconi to resign and let a new government reform the country's finances. Berlusconi no longer commands enough loyalty to pass the reforms and is increasingly seen as the problem rather than part of a solution.
He's quite damaged goods politically right now. So my guess is he's not going to be in any mood to try dramatic reforms. I just think he's going to try and stabilize his situation as best he can and hang on as long as he can, and that's not very healthy for the country.
If Berlusconi should resign or lose a confidence vote, President Giorgio Napolitano would decide whether to call early elections or name a government of technocrats rather than politicians. The most widely discussed name to lead a technical government is Mario Monti, the former EU competition commissioner. Warren Levinson, Associated Press, New York.